The thing that drives me crazy is when you start seeing these like articles or things that says, what women over 40 shouldn't wear. No, let's just let women wear whatever they want. Doesn't matter how old they are.
I felt that I had earned the right to believe my own opinion, that I didn't need to check and look over my shoulder and check with somebody else. Like, is that an okay opinion to have? Am I correct in having that opinion? I don't think we're too old for anything. We see women who aren't necessarily trying to fight their age, taking care of themselves, but are also not just saying, well, now I have to completely give up. I don't have to stop enjoying fashion. I don't have to stop feeling good about my body. I don't have to stop making some effort for myself. I think we're worth the effort at every age. And that should mean taking care of yourself the way you want to be taken care of and not needing anybody else's permission to take care of yourself in a way that makes you feel good.
Welcome to Drinks with the Girls. Conversations for women over 40 around connection, change, and the power of female friendship. Living well with stories to tell. I'm Karen, and this is Lisa.
We are moms and solopreneurs stepping into our own, diving into real conversations about things that matter to women in midlife.
We're here to spill the tea on everything that affects women in their 40s and beyond. Topics like loss and grief, changing relationships, launching kids, menopause, and reinventing ourselves in midlife. We are here to tackle it all.
Connect with us through a blend of our lived experiences, our friendship, the memory of our moms, plus a collection of real stories, honest conversations, and engaging interviews that will make women over 40 feel seen and remind them that they're not alone on this journey called life. Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Drinks with the Girls. Listeners, I have been anticipating this episode.
Me too.
We are going to be talking about midlife style for women over 40. Because Lord knows I need some help learning how to dress for the woman I have become and am becoming. So, do you ever open your closet, like when you're trying to go somewhere and you're like, you have 4 billion things in there, but nothing feels right, nothing looks good, nothing has the vibe? So we're going to talk about how to deal with that today. But before we get into it, I am drinking a Kavita probiotic refresher.
Oh, that was the second time you had that. Well, that looks good. I got to try that one.
Yes, it's better with vodka, but
needs must. Okay,
what are you drinking?
I am drinking, so this is this really cool bottle, Naked Swim, right? I had something like this before. This is a green tea, sparkling green tea and red fruits, glorious herbal tea. It's good. It's good. I like it. It's refreshing. So I would like to introduce our fantabulous guest. This is my dear friend, Kate LaPlante, who we work together sort of, kind of, maybe. She is an amazing assistant superintendent in Alaska. But the minute this episode, we've been looking for someone to talk about fashion for a long time now. And I was like, couldn't find the right person. And so Kate and I were out at breakfast talking business and doing things. And I was like, oh my gosh, girl, and your heels, you're so fierce and da-da. And she was like, yeah. And in the winter, I wear stilettos. And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, because you grip the ice better. I was like, you need to be on our podcast. And I called Karen. I was like, oh my God, I have the best person ever. So Kate is super fashionable, super cute with her stuff. So I think she's going to have a lot of really cool tips for listeners. So my friend, what are you drinking? And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I just ended up my day at work. So I'm actually still at work. So today I am drinking a very sensible San Pellegrino seltzer because I do like that quite a bit. But if I were home with y'all, I would definitely be having a pear martini, which I love. And I've gone to many places and I always order the pear martini and I've perfected my own version. So.
I got to try that at home because I have those canned pears. I need to do that. And what was the drink? Yeah. We saw each other this weekend. I was up in Alaska. What was the drink that you had? French something or other on Saturday?
Oh, a French 75. Yeah. Very classic, very ladylike. Yeah. Very spring.
Like champagne and what else was that?
Yeah, it's champagne and gin and lemon and maybe sometimes a little simple syrup. It's just fresh and so yeah, very good.
Okay, we need the recipe for that and your pear martini so we can put them in the show notes.
I gotta put those.
I, for one, will be making both of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's dive in. I'm a little apprehensive because I tell you, at 57, fashion is not what it was for me. I used to
know.
be a little bit stylish and fashionable, and I had my own
Mhm.
little vibe. But since I've moved to Fallbrook, which is kind of out in the country a little bit, I just don't give a fuck anymore, honestly. And I don't really
That's
go
fair.
anywhere, which is kind of a bummer too. So it's like, why am I going to put in all this effort, right? So, Kate, what do you think? For a woman who's like, they're in their 40s, their 50s, they've gone through a few different, metamorphoses,
Mhm.
and they think, I don't even know what my style is anymore. What do you think's going on? And what do you think their first step should be? I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, sure. So a couple things. There's probably nowhere as we don't care about fashion as Fairbanks, Alaska.
It's
So,
so true. It's
so
so
right.
true.
So I mean, people are wearing their Carhartts to the
Yeah.
ballet. You are wearing
Yeah.
your extra tough boots to, the best restaurants in town, and that is completely okay. And so, in some ways, my don't give an F is going the opposite direction, going like, why shouldn't I care about how I look? Why
Yeah.
shouldn't I want to look the way I feel? And when I feel the way I look, vice versa. I mean, I feel like oftentimes how we want to feel is how we want to dress,
Yep.
So I think embracing fashion now when we have a little bit, yes, our body's not what we maybe it used to be, but I'm more confident about my body because I'm more confident about myself as a whole. And so I know the parts of myself that I feel really good about. I know what my body can do. I appreciate this body that it's given me children and hikes up mountains and does all these things. And some days I want to just be really comfortable and cozy. And some days I want to look fabulous.
Yeah.
And I have permission to do that. And I think as when we were young women, we had way more angst about all that. And as mature women, we start to realize nobody was ever looking at us anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not with the eyes, not with the critique that we had. And now I dress how I want. And women are just so appreciative and like, oh, you look great. And it's fun. It's just fun.
I think it's a permission slip too. Like when you
Yeah.
see another woman, especially a woman who's in midlife or older, who's just totally embraces her own style or who's, kind of bold and a little out there, it's a permission slip. And I appreciate that because it's like, yeah, why can't I do that?
Right.
I also love the fact that at this point, like, I pretty much know what's going to look good on me and what isn't, just in terms of the silhouette and everything. Like, I hate trying things on at the store. Like, I am the one that's going to, if I go shopping, I'm going to buy stuff that I think will work and then try it on at home. I don't know, I can't be bothered, which is, of course, idiotic because then it takes me twice as much time. But I think at this point in my life, I can look at something and be like, that is super cute. I don't know that that's going to look great on me because I'm too short, whatever, And I like the fact that it doesn't feel judgmental to me. Like, I don't feel like I'm like, oh, you're too this, you're too that. It's like, yeah, that silhouette's just not going to work with me. So I'm appreciative of that part, but I do feel like I need to push myself because it ends up, I always joke about my work mullet where it's like professional on the top, party on the bottom with the sweats. Because when you do too much Zoom, you tend to kind of,
And I think finding something that you're willing to push the envelope with, like, so it might be color, it might be texture, it might be, for me, like the shoes, like saying like, I'm going to get really playful with shoes. Why can't I have as many shoes as I want? I have plenty of space in my closet. And if I'm like, people will see me walking in with my shoes and I'm like, I know I'm a big girl. I'm going to live by my decisions. I have my sensible boots in the truck if I need them. Although I did help two guys move their truck out of the way in my pencil skirt in my heels. So,
of course you did. Of course you did. And what was the record? Because I remember you told me you were like, I'm going to see how long I can go without wearing the same pair of shoes twice. What was your record?
it was at least 90 days.
That's insane. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Where do you store all those shoes?
So my closet goes back into like a crawl space. And so I just built shelves into my crawl space. So I have to like get back there. It's a commitment. I have to get back there. But like they're out of sight. Like nobody has to deal with them. They're not in the way. Well, I mean, they're kind of in the way sometimes because I have to remember to put them back. But yeah.
And I think what's also hard too is it's like, I mean, if you've had kids, you kind of went through this period where it's like, look, I'm just lucky if I get out of the house without like spit up on my shoulder, And so I think there is probably a fairly large segment of women in midlife that just don't know what their style is anymore. And, maybe they have been dressing for partners, there's expectations or careers or blah, 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 or like the role that they used to play. Do you have any advice for people that are just like, I don't even know what my style is anymore?
I think for starters, so I did do Stitch Fix for a little while because I was definitely stuck in a rut. And what I discovered from Stitch Fix was things that I would not have tried, but once I brought them home, I could sort of, because they came home, I was able to try them on with things in my closet. And that exercise started to make me think, because I'm not going to pay, I'm frugal. I do a lot of my shopping at secondhand stores. I'm not going to pay a lot of money for something and it only goes with one outfit, right? It's only one thing. I like, if I'm going to pay for something or a statement piece, I want it to go with lots of different things. And by doing Stitch Fix, I was able to try stuff on at home and things that I would maybe not have known I was going to like. I was able to mix and match them and be like, oh, actually, this makes 3 different outfits. So I would say look at, do you have some of the staples that that you look good? A pair of jeans, a pair of black pants, some tops that you always know you look good in. Do you have some signature pieces or some accent pieces? And then is there something that you're like, I want to try a different color, or I want to try a different silhouette, or, there's an event coming up and I'm going to go with my best friend. We're going to go to the thrift store and we're going to try some things on. We can find something that's fun together that we wouldn't have maybe normally picked out, because probably your best friend has some ideas about what she wants to see you in. And I think just permission to be a little bit more playful and to try. And if, again, if you're going to thrift stores, you don't have to spend a ton of money to have a few extra things.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I've gotten into Poshmark, and I've never, like, you and my other friend are like getting me into shoes. Now I'm just like, and I never was before. But for those of you guys who don't know, Stitch Fix is, how would you describe it? It's like a outfit club, and you kind of just put in what your tastes are, and then they send you basically like an outfit. I mean, every month if you want it, right?
Yeah, and you can choose. I mean, so I don't mean to be like plugging a particular
it's
product.
A suggestion. It's a suggestion. You're fine.
But what it did do is it got me out of some ruts.
Yeah.
And that was what I found helpful. And it was because I was able to try things on at home, and I was able to try things that I might not have otherwise tried. And so if you think that you are trying to identify your style, the other thing is, I don't think at least for me, I don't have one style.
Yeah.
I'm multifaceted. So I have many different styles, and it depends how I want to feel and what I'm doing. We actually had this conversation with our coworkers here, like, how do you pick how you're going to wear today? Well, it's partly, what am I doing? I'm going to dress different if I'm going to a summer music festival thing, then I'm going to bring out my bohemian skirt and, my crochet top, and my floppy sun hat. Right. So I have different looks for different situations. And I think that's what's fun and playful. And again, that permission to be not only yourself, but multi versions of yourself, and to get to play. I remember when in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the jean fashion changed significantly, right? And if you were like me in the 80s with the tight jeans with the little zipper and the little bow at the bottom, but you were getting your older sister's hand-me-downs, which were the bell bottoms, because she was like 10 years older than me. So I was getting the corduroy bell bottoms when everybody else had the little zipper jeans. Like, that wasn't cool. But now we can have all of those pants in our wardrobe, and we just get to decide when to wear them for what we want. So I don't feel like we're stuck to one fashion right now. I feel like that has just been blown up, and we can wear what we want.
Yeah. And again, another Kate story, just to set the bar. I saw this. I have the photographic proof. There is a tradition in Anchorage when what's the temperature it has to be?
Oh yeah, in Fairbanks we have a big,
Fairbanks.
Yes, a big sign by the University of Alaska Fairbanks that tracks the temperatures. And when it gets like minus 40, minus 45, we had a stretch this year. We had a lot of negative temperatures, and people go and they stand in front of the temperature sign in their bikini or bathing suit. And so it was. I've been here 25 years, and finally I was like, all right. I told my husband, we might as well go do it. It's cold. But we had to wait till it got a respectable minus 45.
Life goals.
I don't even know what I can't even imagine. I've lived in Southern California my whole life. So, when it's like 60 degrees, I'm cold. 40 below, I don't even know. Like once it hits a certain degrees, is it just butt ass cold and that's it? Or can you tell the difference between like -20 and -40?
Oh yeah, you can tell the difference between -20 and -40. Absolutely. That's the weather where you can throw a cup of hot water up into the air and it just evaporates, and your little nose hairs just freeze, and it's cold.
Yeah. I've been there
cold.
when it's been like 12, and it's like you can just feel the ice like going up into your sinuses. It's crazy time. Yeah.
It sounds painful.
My name is Karen Shatafian, and I am a shameless coffee addict and empowerment coach for women, and my love language is authenticity. My mission is helping women unapologetically design a life they're in love with. Because what the hell are we waiting for? My website, KarenShatafian.com, has all my coaching packages and free offers, like my Midlife Reclamation Guide. In it, you'll find tools to help you decide how to create the most inspired and empowered version of yourself and your life. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram talking about ways women can show up for themselves after decades of showing up for everyone else. Join me as we throw off the shackles and live our best freaking lives. See the show notes for all the details. Cheers.
I want to touch on a little bit of what you were just talking about, Kate, because I think when we're younger, trends are so important to us as young people, as young women, young girls, because, we want to fit in, we want to be cool and do all that. And that is one of the beautiful things about getting to this stage in life is like, you don't really care. I mean, not that we don't care, because certainly there are trends out there that are fun. And I, like the barrel jeans right now, I am all for it. I'm like, oh yes, heck yeah. Get me out of those stupid skinny things. But I think, where was I going with this? I know where I was going. So I was a stay-home mom for a lot of years. And so literally my uniform was jeans and a t-shirt.
Sure.
And I had a hard time like figuring out what my style actually was. But then as I got into my 40s and I actually started doing more fun things, I did develop my own sense of style. And that has changed now. I mean, that was like 15 years ago. And so I've actually found myself kind of grieving that a little bit, which those words coming out of my mouth sound so funny. But, I had like a boho style. I would wear, fun dresses, the tall boots, lots, the jewelry. That doesn't feel as good. It doesn't fit my vibe as much anymore. And it makes me sad, actually. So I'm trying to figure out how to step into my new whatever. I don't know if style is the right word. How can I do that?
Help me. I've fallen.
Help.
So some people like a very specific, a very classic style, and then they want to add accent pieces to it. And they go through, maybe leather jackets, or like, okay, I just want some great fitting jeans, some really classic tops, and then a whole variety of leather jackets that I can mix and match and always look good. So some people have sort of uniforms that they go with. I think, first of all, I would tell somebody, what's something that you feel really good about? Do you feel good about like your neck and your shoulder, and you want to draw people's attention to, we want to draw people's attention to our face, but is there something that you feel really good about? You're like, or I really love my long legs. I don't have long legs. I'm assuming maybe you do. But is there something about yourself that you feel really confident about? Or you feel, you're fit and you've been doing your yoga and you've been, taking care of yourself, and you just wanted to show off your athletic body that we're finally taking care of in our 50s. And now that we can do those things, and so we're not just driving our kids to their activities. So is there something that you particularly feel good about your body and you want to highlight that? I think, again, we should feel comfortable not having to be a slave to one type of fashion. I think it's interesting watching how many people, and this is, Lisa certainly got to see me and my friends do this, where we dressed up for the Kentucky Derby.
So fun.
And I see a lot of that happening, where even going to the movies nowadays, people are going to go to the movies when there's a theme, and they can go for the Barbie movie, or they can go for, Star Wars, and they dress up, because going to the movies, why am I going to pay all that money? Well, I'm going to pay that money because it's an event now. Yeah. Or we're going to, sometimes the bars are having these events and people are dressing up. And I think there's this encouragement to try to make things fun. So there's your day-to-day person, and then there's playing with whatever comes your way and you want to try stuff out.
Yeah, and
I like that. I love that idea of playing
Playing.
with it.
And
Yeah.
Karen is the person that was legendary for her Halloween parties and has like boxes and boxes and boxes of costumes. So
I love
Yes.
that.
It's another thing I'm grieving.
you can still throw one. I'll fly
Now
down.
that I live in the middle of nowhere, nobody will come to my parties. But yeah. Gosh, there's just a whole bunch of things making me sad on this episode.
Jeez, we're not trying to make you
I
sad.
want to make people feel good. I really want to, if I were going to invite women to my party, it's kind of like saying, maybe fashion was difficult. Either I didn't, couldn't afford the things that other people had. I certainly had periods in my life where I couldn't afford the fashions that people thought were fashionable, or didn't feel like I looked good in the things that people thought were fashionable. So feeling like I don't have to adhere to somebody else's idea of fashion was probably one of the first things that felt liberating. Feeling like I could choose the things that I felt look good on me, or how do I feel in this? And then, I think there were times where feeling like dressing particularly extra nice maybe was too much. Maybe I thought that it was trying to give people the wrong idea about me. And I'm less concerned about that now. And if I feel like I want to dress, sexy or flirty, I know who I am and I know what I'm putting out there, and I know that I'm doing it for me.
I've also found for me, like I have found certain brands and things that I tend to stay with because I know that they fit me really well. So like I know when I go to Nordstrom's Rack, which is great for deals, their Calvin Klein stuff always fits me really, really well. So I tend to kind of have this quote unquote uniform just in terms of like I had a couple really cute dresses that I brought with me. Those were both Calvin Klein because they fit me.
Yeah, I was going to say,
really,
I think I saw them.
Yeah, they fit me really well,
great.
and they were reasonable, right? The other thing I found is it has to be functional just in terms of comfort level, or you're not going to wear it. Like we've all bought stuff that we're like, oh, that's really cute, and then it just sits in your closet because you're like, So I have found a couple different brands of pants that I wear, especially when I'm traveling for work. I love Halara. I love Beta Brand because it's got some stretch in it. If I'm running around to clients and stuff, I don't want something that's going to be difficult for me to walk in. So I think there's that part of it too, and there's those pieces and brands that you rely on. And then there's the part like you're talking about where, okay, I want to stretch. I really like that. And I love, like I said, Poshmark and ThredUp and stuff for those because, it's one thing to try something for $50. It's quite another to try something for $500. And this way you can often get really quality pieces without spending a ridiculous amount of money, which nobody really wants to do.
Yeah. Well, and you've seen me. I also love some jumpsuits. In fact, I'm wearing a jumpsuit today. This one buttons down the front, but you certainly make some friends when you wear the one that buttons in the back and be like, all right, girls, I need your help now. But I think that finding some silhouettes, and some of the jumpsuits give, really fabulous silhouettes if you find a good one. I have a green one that I know that Lisa's seen, but I also have a black one that's kind of an off the shoulder. And it's so simple and so elegant, and I can dress it up or I can dress it down. I can put a leather jacket over it. So if I'm traveling, that's one of the pieces that I take with me because, again, I can dress it up or dress it down. And, it stretches enough that it's going to be forgiving. It's comfortable. I don't have to worry about just whether it's going to fit me, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go back a little bit and talk a little bit about shoes because when I was in my 40s, I was a shoe queen like you. I don't think I had as many as you do, but I loved it. I was obsessed with shoes. My 57-year-old knees do not like those heels anymore, or the flip-flops and the sandals, because I used to live in a beach town. So, if it was casual, I was meeting a girlfriend for a beer or lunch or whatever, it was flip-flops. And I have a hard time with those also. So what is a good way, and you may not know, you may not have experienced this yet, but it's like, I don't know how to be comfortable and fashionable with shoes.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Oh, I think, again, comfort is both how you physically feel and how you psychologically feel about how things are pulled together. So I would say a lot of times finding a brand of shoes, just like we're talking brand of pants, if there's a brand of shoes that you feel really like fit your foot well. A lot of shoe brands have different, styles. And so maybe try to see if there's a different style that, it kind of expands to like the fancier side of things. Even Birkenstocks, I think they have like some heels, right? And so like Tom's has really comfortable shoes, but then they have some really nice heels. I love wedges. So I know, yes, I do wear the stilettos, but I also love a good wedge. And I find that is a shoe that gives me more stability, gives me a little bit of that height and a little bit of the lift. But I'm more planted on the ground. So if you're trying to find an in-between, I would maybe say, try to find something that's like a wedge. Let's see. Today I am wearing a wedge. I'm wearing Viscata, I think, which is, I think, the same brand that Kate Middleton wears.
Oh, very cool. So it's almost it's like an espadrille.
Yeah, right. Oh, where am I going?
There you go. Yeah. It's like an espadrille. I love it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so that's a nice way to get, that stability, and it's very, very comfortable, but I still have a little bit of that lift for the heel, and that's going to be able to dress up or down. So my kids have heard me say it. I love a good wedge.
Yes. Now, I have a question. You always are so great with the stilettos and stuff like that, and I'm always like, oh my God, I don't know if my feet are going to be comfortable in that. Do you have any kind of an insert or anything that you can recommend? Because for me, that's where it's uncomfortable, is like right around like the ball of my foot.
I haven't had to do that yet. There's a couple shoes where the heel is just starting to slip a little bit. And so I've just, like gotten one of those little grippy heel things.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't gone for the inserts yet, but I have looked at some because I was like, I wonder if it would be more comfortable and give you a little bit of padding and stuff. So,
yeah, because there's all sorts of different styles to do it. The other one I've discovered recently that I'm obsessed with is the brand Rothys, Rothys. Mm-hmm. It's made from recycled plastic bottles, which I freaking love. Now, they're stupid expensive new. They're like $200 new. But again, I'm going on Poshmark and getting them for like $50. And they're very comfortable. I always had a hard time with flats for a long time because my ex-ballet dancer feet would be really weird. But these are really comfortable. And I like them, and they look nice. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I haven't tried those. And of course, people are seeing those Cozy Island ones, and I haven't tried those yet either. So there's a lot of brands that I haven't tried. Up here in Fairbanks, we don't have... The only shoes that I can find here in an actual shoe store are, like I said, your Extra Toughs and your work boots and things like that, or
Doc Martens for special.
Yeah, right. So
I want to talk about, and I alluded to it a little bit with my knees and my feet and whatnot, but let's talk about how our changing bodies affects our fashion or our style over the years. I had a period of time, it was probably about 3 years ago. I was living here, and I was trying to fit into my old jeans. Mm-hmm. And I was just, I hadn't figured it out that it was time for me to buy a new size. It's like, I don't know if I was in denial. I don't know, but literally, and it sounds so silly, but when I squeezed myself into these stupid things, and it was so uncomfortable. It's like I told myself, I'm like, Karen, you need to buy a different size. Mm-hmm. But once I kind of said that to myself and allowed myself to do that, it was like, oh, okay. And it was
Nobody's
like
going to die. It's fine.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and I joked earlier about, being sad about a lot of things, in this episode, and it's kind of true. And I think that's just where I am in life right now, just grieving a lot of big things and small things. Part of that is really trying to, grieve the old body that I had before menopause, right? And love the body that I have now, and find clothes that, we've been talking about that make me feel good, the clothes that make me feel the way I want to feel, not like, oh, I'm in these jeans and I can't breathe.
And I think, I appreciate what you're saying about grieve the body. I would also say thank you to the body.
For sure.
That, thank you, body, for doing that really hard work of mothering for me. Thank you, body, for doing that really hard work of taking care of so many people. And I will put a plug in. We either pay for our health or we pay for our health.
I like
So
that.
you're either going to pay for your health in time and money after the fact, or you're going to pay for your health in time and money proactively. And so if you haven't already done that, start doing it now. The other thing is, like so many women, I probably have the entire gamut of sizes in my closet. I have been, all the sizes and worked to, to get the size where I am. But I don't believe that I'm not going to fluctuate. I'm going to fluctuate. So I haven't gotten rid of stuff. I have it there because I'm probably going to need it at some point, because things are going to get crazy at some point, and I'm not going to have the time to take care of myself the way I need to or want to. And I'm going to need those clothes. So I have all the sizes. And what I find is that when it's time to shift to go up or down, you just are going to look better if it fits. If it fits properly, you're going to actually look better and feel better. And when we're trying to, either we're in the clothes and they've gotten too tight for us, or they've gotten too baggy for us, and they're not looking right, then that starts to make us not feel good. And whatever size we're at, we deserve to feel good and look good. And you're going to look better and feel better if you're in a size that fits, whether that's go get your bra, size figured out, get a good bra, good undergarment, get a good pair of jeans, get a good pair of pants, just like a shoe. You wouldn't walk around in a shoe that doesn't fit, because it's going to hurt and it's not going to be comfortable. We need to have clothes that fits us and we're going to look better in.
Yeah.
So we're worth it.
Hey there, I'm Lisa Corachella McDowell, your midlife Pacific Northwest princess, here to guide you in the art of next leveling your life. I'm passionate about women's health and wellness in midlife, especially for moms parenting kids with unique needs like I do. I truly believe we can learn, grow, advocate, and care for the planet while taking care of ourselves and our families. And I'd love to help you do the same. And I'm beyond excited to tell you about my membership for maxed out mamas just like me, the Empowered Parent Collective. It's a space for parents to confidently advocate for their kids, build inclusive communities, educate themselves, and find balance and support along the way. To find out more about the Empowered Parent Collective, my classes, wellness offerings, parenting tips, advocacy resources, and exclusive Drinks with the Girls goodies, head to nextlevellifewithlisa.com. Let's survive and thrive in the messy middle together.
I was telling you this weekend. I did a conference, I don't know, a month ago. It's all rolling into one. And I was speaking at a breakout session, and I pulled out some clothes that I was comfortable in that looked professional. And I saw some pictures of myself. I'm like, oh my Lord, I look like I put on my mother's dress-up closet. They were just like hanging on me. And I get like you. I'm like, oh, I'm going to wear this until I drop because, it's fine. And it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. I look like Paddington Bear, like all I needed was like the little boulder. And I'm like, this is like, okay, this is stupid, right? And it's like, it's okay to let go of stuff that isn't working for you anymore. I mean, I totally agree with you. Like, keep stuff that you love that will come in handy. But also, like, I mean, I've tried the whole thing where you put the hangers backwards, and then if it doesn't, you don't wear it in like 6 months, and then it goes out the window. And I'm still like, oh, I should hold on to it. It's ridiculous, Like, there's just no reason why I should be staring at these clothes that I've stared at for 2 years now and I've never worn. Like, pass them on to someone.
Yeah.
I don't know what's behind that whole psychic
I
craziness.
have a hard time sometimes letting things go, but even just recently I got, I had some jackets and I was like, I am not wearing these, and I've held on to them for years and they're good. And I was like, I need to let these go, because even though I loved them, they were just so big that they just didn't look, they just look like a tent on me now, time to go.
Yep. Agreed.
That's what I did with my shoes. I held on to them for so long, and then I just realized, you know what? I don't think I'll wear these. I mean, I've kept a couple of them. For the most of them, I'm just like, I'm gonna let you go.
Well, and I think too, it is perfectly acceptable to have seasons of our lives, right? And so you were talking about that season where you were stay-at-home mom and you just lived in jeans and a t-shirt, and that was because your children were the most important thing right then. I mean, and your children still are the most important thing, but you literally had to make them the most important thing every day. And now you have some time to give back to yourself. And so giving that back into figuring out what's your fashion now. Will I always have 90 pairs of stiletto shoes? Of course not. There will be a time where that is a ridiculous thing to do, but I can do it right now and it's not hurting anything. So I'm just having fun with it.
Absolutely.
My mom told me at one point, she's like, wear your hair long because at some point you're going to have to cut it short. And I was like, oh, there's just going to come a time where that, my body and logic say it's time to move on to the next phase, but I'm not trying to rush anything, and I'm trying to embrace what I can do right now. And if I'm enjoying it and it's making me feel good, and that's what I want for all my sisters, and I'm not judging anybody. If I see somebody out there and they're wearing something and it's obviously that they feel good in it, I'm happy to see them be happy.
So I think we touched on this, but Saturday night I was up in Anchorage and Kate had flown down and we were there for a conference, and she very graciously invited me to join her work colleagues, and they did a Kentucky Derby themed dinner, and it was adorable. Like, people came up with the cutest things. Like, people weren't spending tons of money, right? Like, it was maybe a fascinator from Amazon or whatever. Everybody looked darling, so much so that people were literally coming up to us and saying, can we take a picture? Like, remember that woman? She was so cute. She's like, I have to get a picture of this. This is great, right? And we had the best time. It was so fun. And it was just like, if I had been 16, I would have been like, ooh, everybody's staring at me. This is weird. And it was a blast, And so I think that just like a lot of things in midlife, you just get to the point where you're like, you know what? This feels good and it's fun and I'm going to do it. Even if my teenager is rolling her eyes at me.
Well, and I think that it's a good example for our teenage daughters and sons that, maybe we're being hung up sometimes on the wrong things.
Yep. Absolutely.
I love that too, because I'm not a hat girly, but how fun to be able to go to an event like that and just, awesome. It's almost like the more fun, the wilder, the better. And right. I think, that's fun because, maybe after something like that, I would become a hat girly. Who knows?
Yeah, it was super cool.
Let's talk about that phrase that we hear a lot at this stage that, oh, I'm too old for that. Can we just beat the pulp out of that phrase right now?
Yeah, sure.
Well, there's like, I'm too old for that. And then there's like, I'm too old for that, right? Like, there's this like, I don't need to deal with this anymore. And then there's the like insecure kind of piece, which I think are two different things.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting so I'm 50, I'll be 51 in a couple months, but I recall a very specific thing happening when I turned 40. And that is that I felt that I had earned the right to believe my own opinion, that I didn't need to check and look over my shoulder and check with somebody else. Like, is that an okay opinion to have? Am I correct in having that opinion? I felt like I had amassed enough life experience and enough work experience that I could state my own opinion about something and feel confident in it. And I think coming into my 50s, I really have taken that another step in being more confident in myself and being more confident in perhaps how I look. Maybe and I think that I don't think we're too old for anything. I mean, we can kind of picture there's some older women who are style icons out there. I wish I could come up with some specific names, but I mean, we see women and who aren't necessarily trying to fight their age. I mean, aging gracefully, taking care of themselves, but are also not just saying, well, now I have to completely give up. I don't have to stop enjoying fashion. I don't have to stop feeling good about my body. I don't have to stop making some effort for myself. And people's effort might be different. My effort includes hair and makeup and fashion and clothes right now. And it might look different in the future. Maybe the effort will be just skincare and, a good haircut and clothes that feels good on me. But I think we're worth the effort at every age. And that should mean taking care of yourself the way you want to be taken care of and not needing anybody else's permission to take care of yourself in a way that makes you feel good.
Absolutely. When I think of style icons now, I think of people like Helen Mirren and Meryl Streep that are just like, I mean, their presence is just so amazing, Those are two I can think of. But yeah, I agree. I think that makes so much sense.
I love Diane Keaton's style too, even though it was, it's just so like her, like nobody else had her style.
Well, and she has an iconic fashion sense, right?
Yeah, she really did.
Yeah.
Totally. The thing that drives me crazy is when you start seeing these like articles or things that says, what women over 40 shouldn't wear, or, and it's like, no, let's just stop. Let's just let women wear whatever they want. Doesn't matter how old they are.
I talked about my whole thing about like I tried I'm putting the hangers backwards thing, and like if you don't use it, failed miserably. Do you have a good system for like I know you have certain pieces that you've saved that are in different sizes, and you have like a purpose for those. Do you have a good system for people to go through their closet and be like, what, it's time to get rid of some of this stuff, or pack it away, or whatever?
Yeah. So, I mean, up here in Alaska, we have very distinct, we have a summer, and then we have a long winter. And so I do have totes, and I do some seasonal swapping. And so I'll put away my summer clothes because I just don't even need to be bothered by it all winter long.
Yeah.
And then I will pull that tote back out and in the spring, and I'll pack away some of my heavier stuff, the things that I know I'm not going to wear all summer long. And so I'll pack those away and just sort of flip those back and forth. But the other thing I think is, either by yourself or with a friend. It depends. I've done both. I kind of like doing it with friends. It's fun to swap clothes. Be like, I'm not doing this anymore. But like everybody bring, a tote or a bag of stuff that they are not sure about. Because probably if you bring it to girlfriends, this is talk about drinks with the girls. I mean, get together with some girlfriends, have a couple drinks, and swap clothes and see if there's something that's
fun. I love it.
Yeah, just like we did when we were teenagers. And so I think that that's a fun way to do it, because you can help other people feel like they can try something that they might not have thought of, and you can get good ideas about like, no, that looks really good, or I have the thing that with that is going to look good on Sally. So like we all pull together, and now we have a new outfit for a friend that wasn't there before. So that's a fun way to do it. And you don't feel like you're just getting rid of clothes, and you might end up coming back with something too. I do think that if it's an accent, if it's either a truly high quality piece that has always made you feel good, and you're just, it's the size and it's quite right now, but you think it will be, keep high quality pieces that have always made you feel good. If it's an accent piece that, is unique, and you can't find again, maybe consider holding on to that. Like, again, I'm going to say, a really fabulous belt or a leather coat, or a pair of boots. I mean, hold on to those things because you're not going to be able to find them again. And then, but if you're holding on to like 4 white t-shirts, you don't need the one that's saggy. Just like if this is just, I don't particularly wear a lot of t-shirts with like words on them. So I've done the run, I got the t-shirt, but I'm not going to wear it again. Yeah. So I get rid of things that I know that I'm not going to wear. And I kept a lot of things like, well, this will be my lawn mowing. Well, how many lawn mowing outfits do I need?
I love the fact that you have a section like, oh, well, this will be my lawn mowing. I love it. That's awesome.
Well, I don't need 20 lawn mowing outfits.
No, you're good.
Okay, quick pause. Have we talked about the Pod Squad lately?
Oh, the Pod Squad. You mean our email list /VIP lounge /digital wine club?
Exactly. So listeners, if you're not on it yet, you're basically making life harder for yourself when it comes to podcasts.
Like trying to scroll for show notes while speed walking on a treadmill. Wait, what was that link again? Oh, no. Grab the side rails.
Or pulling up that book we mentioned while you're in the Starbucks line and then realizing everybody else moved up 3 cars and now you're that woman.
We've all been there. That's why we made the Pod Squad. You'll get new episode alerts every week with direct links. Easy to listen, easy to share.
And show notes straight to your inbox. So when we drop a life-changing product, book, hot tip, or yummy new drink, you're not rummaging through your memory like a woman searching for her reading glasses when they're on top of her head.
It's organized, it's helpful, it's for you, babes.
So join the Pod Squad. The link is in the show notes. Just tap it.
Snacks, sarcasm, solidarity.
And obviously, fighting the patriarchy.
We write at dawn.
To put my foot down when Tony and I go to like concerts, or like last night we went to see a comedian that he loves. I actually did get a shirt last night because it was cute. But he loves to get the concert tees, right? And
God,
depending
they're
on
so expensive now. It's ridiculous.
Oh gosh, they are ridiculous. But most times now I just say no, thank you. I would love, I wish I would have kept my OG original concert tees from back in the day, but yeah, I'm just like, no, I don't need something else to clog up my drawer like that I'm probably not going to wear.
I mean, there's probably a few out there that you want to have. My kids are, my daughter's about to graduate from college, and I proudly will wear her, her college T-shirt because I'm proud about that. Like that's the one I do want to wear. So there are a few that I have, but I don't need a ton.
Yeah.
I also have to be real with myself sometimes. Like I keep stuff in my closet that I like. I don't know why I keep it. I'm always like, well, there might be an occasion where I need it, but the bottom line is I don't like the way it makes me feel when I put it on. And I think that I have this weird thing about like, oh, well, I did like it before, so I have to keep it. Like, like it's like some hair shirt or something. Well, you bought it. It's just like these rules that I make up for myself in my head are just so silly.
You're saying that, and I'm picturing a blouse that I have. It's this silk red blouse that I have put that thing on 10 or 20 times thinking that this will be the time I wear it. And I've never decided to go out with it because I want it to make me feel a certain way and it doesn't. And so you're inspiring me to be like, you know what, that red, I bought it. I love the color. I love the way the fabric feels. When I put it on me, I think I want to feel a certain way and I haven't yet. And I should just probably let it go.
Yeah.
Tags and all.
Yeah. No,
That's
I think,
so interesting. Yeah. I was just thinking as you were talking, sometimes, you buy it maybe like an impulse buy or something, or maybe it is something that's trendy and then it sits in your closet and then you put it on. And then if it is out of your comfort zone a little bit in terms of what you normally wear style wise, I think sometimes it might become like a confidence issue. Like, it might feel good and look good, but it might be so far out of what you normally wear. You're like, how do I build up the confidence to like pull this off? Yeah. And guess what? We don't need to pull it off. I mean, like that's just, those are like the little tapes that go on in your mind. But no, like you said earlier, I think, Kate, when we started, it's like, nobody cares. Really? Like nobody, we are thinking way more about it than anybody else is.
100%. I will say, so earlier on when I was starting to, take care of myself more and starting to lose weight, and that's when I was doing the Stitch Fix, it was my kids seeing me. I'd come downstairs in an outfit and they'd be like, wow, Mom, you look great. And I'm like, really? And they were my confidence boost starters. And, as I started trying things that, maybe had a little bit more polish to them, a little bit more professional look, and they were saying, how good that looked. That was where it started for me in feeling like I could be a little bit more confident and try things that maybe had a little bit more flair to them or were a little bit more form-fitting, because I would have probably really avoided that and done a lot of hiding myself before.
Yeah. And I like what
my
you said.
My 27-year-old daughter is my fashion consultant. I'll FaceTime her and be like, does this work? And she'll be very honest with me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, mine is too. Like, it's almost too honest. I'm like, okay, thanks. I get it. It's not working. Moving on. I want to go back to what you said about when you're kind of starting over with your style and trying to figure out what works for you. And I love what you said about, like, you don't have to have it all figured out, right? This idea of, like, add a little color, add a little this. Like, I adore bright colors. And my husband's always telling me, so many people could not pull that off, but I think it's like the Southern California in me, but I love bright colors. And I think part of it, I think I was telling you this Saturday, like, my mom was the queen of, like, taupe and beige. Mm-hmm. Not that there isn't a time and place for that, but it was just like in everything she wore. And I was like, I remember when I was getting married, she's like, what do you want? I told you this story. What do you want me to wear? And I was like, I don't care what you wear, but it better not be a version of beige. And she was like, okay. So she wore this beautiful, it was this green pot de soie suit, and it had like a portrait collar. It was just gorgeous. But I said, like, why don't you wear more stuff? She goes, oh, I guess I'm just not confident enough, and that always bummed me out because like, certainly at some point we need to stop letting the world like run our fashion choices, for God's sakes, Yeah.
Well, there's rules that are meant to be broken. So just last week I wore a white dress, and right. And I didn't wait till after Memorial Day or Labor Day or whatever the rule is. I was like, I'm going to wear a white dress. I feel like it's been a long, hard winter. I felt like being a little bit more springy, a little bit lighter. Yep. And, and people liked it and I enjoyed it and I felt good about it. So I think if you think you're in a rut, it's probably because you feel comfortable there. And then think, okay, but what could I do that to just change one thing to sort of bring me out of this rut, And again, it might be changing a texture, adding a texture, um, you know, layers. I've started, some people play with layers a little bit more. My son bought me a poncho, which I never would have bought. I never would have bought this poncho. And I probably never would have even thought to wear it. And when I wear it, one, I feel so comfortable in it. So on days when I'm like, it's really cold and I want to feel cozy and maybe a little bit casual, I'll wear this beautiful beige. It's beige, but it's got textures and patterns. But I'll wear this poncho and people are always like, oh, that looks great. And I would never have picked it out for myself. So sometimes having that, somebody else kind of encourage you is really helpful. And hopefully everybody has somebody who they can do that with, whether it's a child, whether your children or a best friend or, a sibling or somebody that's, like we don't have to be even in the same neighborhood. I mean, you can get on FaceTime and send each other, chat about what the outfit is. So I do that too with my daughter and my sisters. So
yeah.
I think I need to find like a personal shopper or something like that. Because my problem is I look at something, or if I see something on, Instagram or whatever, I'll be like, oh, that's so cute. But if I were to like run free in the wild shopping, I have a hard time like putting stuff together, like outfits and things. And I just remembered, and I'd totally forgotten about this, but when I was younger, I lived in Seal Beach, there was this cute little boutique there. So everything in there was very unique. It's not like you're going to go find it at Marshall's or whatever. And Michelle, shout out to Michelle, she was always there when I'd go in, and she would just hook me up with the cutest outfits, like, and belts, jewelry, the pants, the shirt or the dress or whatever. And I think that's what I need to find. I think that can help me. Michelle, where are you?
Where are you?
Last summer, a friend here had gone through a real body transformation, and she was still dressing for her old body shape and her old attitude. And it was actually my birthday, and I was like, for my birthday, I take you shopping? And so we went to one of my favorite boutiques, a secondhand boutique. And I did that. I just was like, no, you need to try this. You need to try this. And we picked out a whole bunch of stuff that she would never have thought for herself. And, and I was like, okay, do you have something like this at home? Okay. So then you could pair this with that. And, I helped. It was so much
fun.
Yeah. Best day ever.
Everybody needs a friend like that.
No kidding. I think I know who I'm FaceTiming next when I don't know what I'm doing. So share my aunt is a huge like secondhand shopper, and she's great. She does that sometimes for friends. So give us your secrets. Like how do you get the most out of secondhand shops? I mean, Poshmark and stuff like that I like because there's like certain things I'm looking for. But I know that, and there's secondhand stores and there's secondhand stores, right? Like
Right.
So give us your tips.
So if your town has a consignment shop is going to be a little bit more curated, and it can often you're going to get more of your brand name things, the things that have, that are still quality. Again, they're just going to be a little bit more curated, and somebody's making an effort to sort of put them out, seasonally for what you might be looking for. But also just a real general thrift store, whether up here in Alaska, we have Value Village, some places it's,
like Goodwill or
Goodwill, right. Yeah. So those are also fun. I mean, even if you go to Nordstrom's or Marshall's, you don't always know exactly what you're going to find, right? It's not like there's a guarantee. I mean, hopefully there's some staples, right? But you don't always know what you're going to find. Well, the same thing is true at a thrift store or a consignment shop. You don't exactly know what you're going to find. So if you're going, I need a pair of, I'm not saying get your socks and underwear there. Like go get the things that you
hard pass. No, thank you.
You need to go get your bra and your socks and your underwear from a good store that always has the quality you want. Like there's certain things to get there. But if you're looking for a blouse or a dress or, I've been amazed at how many leather jackets I have gotten for $30 at Value Village. So I walk in and I make a beeline to where the leather jackets are. Most of the time there's nothing. And then every once in a while, like this you know, what was it? It was like a Eddie Bauer leather jacket, you know, with tags still on for $30.
Oh my
that fit
goodness.
perfect, you know?
That's crazy.
So you just kind of figure out where to go. We used to be able to, like, they had a dressing room, and then after COVID, there's no more dressing room. So I will go in my yoga leggings and a tight fitted bra, you know, like sports bra, so that I can kind of get an idea, or, you know, sometimes I can pull something on. Again, I'm not shy, so I'm like, there I am, like pulling on a skirt, you know, in the middle of the aisle. But you know, so jeans might be a harder thing. So there might be some things where you're like not quite going to do that. But again, at a consignment shop, maybe you'll be able to try them on and see if you like them. But I think just going for the exploration of it, just the fun of it.
Oh, it's so fun. I get so overwhelmed. I'm like, okay, this is, yeah. Especially if I don't have a plan. Like if I'm just going in just to browse, it's like, no, I need a plan. Like, okay, yes, I need a pair of jeans or whatever. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you get shoes at the consignment shop?
I do. I will.
Okay.
Yep. But it's amazing. I will actually get a lot of new ones. You can tell if they're new. And so I will get new ones there too.
Poshmark's great for that, Karen. I have a pair that I haven't opened yet. You can literally get new tag shoes.
Yeah.
Never worn for like a fraction of the price, and you can bargain. That's what I like about it, is they'll be like, oh, it's this. I'm just like, no. And so like I was going back and forth with one woman, and she's like, well, can we split the difference? And like, and I finally was just like, look, my budget is this. And I totally get it. I understand, but walking away.
I just have, my feet are long and skinny. I have a size 10, really narrow feet. So I don't know, at Poshmark, can you return them?
I don't know if you can. I'm not sure. I don't think so if it's what it's set up to be. But if you're really good about your measurements and you know what works, and that's another reason why I like sticking with certain brands, because I know like, okay, when I get this and that, you know. And the other thing is, let's just say for argument's sake, it is a miss. I spent $50, not $500.
Yeah. Well, and so Poshmark and some of those sites, ThreadUp, there's other places. If you know you have a brand that you like, or you know you have a shoe, you know, a brand of shoes that you like, then you can go look for it. And you know, I've been on the hunt for certain things for years. Sometimes like I'm on the look for this particular thing, and I know what I want. Then you can, you know, the internet's great when you know exactly what you're looking for, and you just need to find it. But if you're just trying to sort of see what it is, so if you feel overwhelmed, one thing might be like, I'm only going to give myself half an hour. I'm going to give myself half an hour, and I'm going to peruse like one rack. I'm just going to look at the summer dresses, where the summer dresses are, and if I find something that I like, great, and if I don't, I'm out.
Yep.
And just start with little small things like that.
That's a good idea. So something just popped in my head, and you may or may not have an answer for me on this one, but this kind of goes back to the body changes, you know, that we go through. And I find myself struggling to dress in a way that I feel comfortable and confident because of my new cute little soft belly that I have now. And I'm not quite sure, like, I love her. I embrace her. I don't want to say I'm happy she's around, but we're friends. But when I put pants on or anything that I have to like try to find a waist, I lose my confidence. Mm-hmm. So is there any certain type of style? Like I do love dresses. I'm happy that spring is here because I do love dresses. So that helps. But in terms of like jeans or pants, is there any way that you can think of that is a good way to feel confident or to style a cute little soft menopause belly?
You know, cut is going to make such a difference. I mean, just think of it. There's a huge difference between the mom jeans that they make fun of on Saturday Night Live with like the pleats, you know, that come up, you know, they button at your belly button and then they just blouse over your tummy. Like that's probably might be comfortable. It's not really comfortable for me, but it's certainly not going to feel flattering probably for what we're trying to do. Yeah. So cut is going to make all the difference. And there's so many pants out there now that have a little bit of tummy control, have a little bit of elasticity in them. And if if they give you the right amount of structure, just the right amount of structure will kind of hold things in and, smooth it out. Again, getting the right size, so that it sort of skims instead of like pinches and pulls. I think that's really important. So I would say, when it comes to pants or jeans, it's worth going to maybe a department store and trying on a variety of ones until you find a style that you feel like the cut is just right for you. Because, I've always had, a healthy behind. And so, trying to find those jeans that didn't gap at the back. So maternity clothes, when I was pregnant, I was like, oh, this is great. I just wanted that elastic thing for my butt though. I was like, oh, they're like, no, honey, that goes in the front. I'm like,
You're
well,
like,
but my
oh.
butt's like, I'm like, this is great. I'm just going to like put these maternity pants for that. Right. So
Baby got back.
Baby got back. Right. So, so finding things that didn't gap was always tricky, but now they have cuts that actually fit me. So, and my shape has changed and it's not quite, now I'm like, oh man, I kind of miss some of that, it's flattening out a little bit. So, but there's just so many more different cuts. And so again, at a good department store, somebody's probably going to know what style cut, just like they know which bra might work for which kind of figures. They're going to know which pair of jeans or which pants are cut for certain types of shapes. And I think it's worth, finding that and investing in it and then you can find more of those. So yeah.
That's a good tip.
My goal for anybody would just be that they feel encouraged and empowered to feel good about themselves and to invest in themselves in whatever way they want to.
Okay, so it's that time in the show when we talk about takeaways. We talk about all the things that we hope women who are listening walk away from this episode with. So, Kate, what do you think? What are some of the unspoken rules that women over 40 still follow, but you wish that they would just drop them immediately?
Well, you said that idea that like you're too old for something or that you don't have the right shape for something. I feel like I see women of all shapes wearing bikinis and I love it. I see women of all shapes wearing tight dresses and short skirts or, and fitted jeans, however they want. And I love it. I think that when we see somebody feeling confident, that exudes beyond anything else. And so I just want to see people feeling confident in themselves and feeling like they're worth the investment. So I think that, fashion is supposed to be fun and it's supposed to make you feel good. So I don't know if there's a specific rule there, but I would say just, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to highlight what you said because I think you did talk about it earlier, but we didn't really dive into it, but that we are worth the investment.
Yeah.
Because we've talked on this podcast before in other areas how women just do not invest in themselves. They do not feel that they can spend the money, whether it's clothes, therapy, a vacation, a cute handbag, whatever. So I'm so glad that you said that because we are worth the investment.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Good story.
So let's see. What's one small change a woman can make this week that would shift how she feels when she gets dressed? You've talked about tons of different ones, but if you could just narrow it down to like, okay, here's my takeaway.
Yeah. So I would say we talked about color, and I would say that's a hard part for a lot of people. And often when people are in a rut, when a woman is in a rut, she's in the rut with either, monochromatic black or monochromatic, beige or blue or something. If you feel like you're in a rut, see if there's something you could do to play with color. We're heading into spring and summer, so it's a great time to embrace a little bit more color. And, it doesn't have to be a lot. It could even just be a colored belt, just something that, just an accent piece that you add in. So I think that's a fun way to try something a little bit playful.
I like that.
And see how you feel about it. Because I think the other thing is when we try something and we go out, and women I find are amazing at saying compliments to each other, being like, wow, you look great. When you start to hear that back, that is it's so good for your own psyche. And that's its own motivation of like, oh, this really worked. And actually people, this thing that I wasn't sure about, people really liked, and I got a lot of good feedback from it. And so I really like that.
Yeah. I love trying to compliment other women when I see things because we never hear stuff like that enough. I notice it's funny, even my daughter at her age, she will almost every time we're out, she'll say, oh, I really like this and I really like that. And I have to do kind of a double take. I'm like, that's so great. The reverse isn't true. She doesn't feel comfortable when people compliment her. But I love that she's growing up just not tearing down other women, and like complimenting people. I think it's super cool.
Well, thank you, listeners, for joining us. Kate, thank you so much. This is the first type of episode on this topic that we've done. So thank you so much. I have a feeling we might have you back. We want to dive a little deeper, get a little more specific. But listeners, as always, we know that you have a choice of who you have in your earbuds. And we thank you that you bring Drinks with the Girls along with you. And Lisa?
Subscribe to the Pod Squad so you can get us in your inbox. Stay tuned for Drinks with the Girls 2.0. We got some fun stuff coming up, including our subscription service that we're launching this summer and all sorts of good stuff. And I want to thank my sweet friend Kate. I'm so excited to bring her wonderful spirit to you guys. I'm sure you can just feel it coming off of her. She's just like this in real life. She's wonderful. So you are the perfect person that you're going to be. So, All right, everybody, just say cheers.
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 Cheers.